Welcome to As Above.
So below,
I'm Kisha Lee, the Psychic Yogi.
and I'm Cidnee Rich, and this is Astro Reiki Capricorn season. So we have entered the cardinal energy of Capricorn after our fun, mutable, exciting, expansive Sagittarius season. Kicks us off for the holidays, and Capricorn kind of brings us home, which I think is pretty interesting. Obviously, this is based on the Gregorian calendar. So the first month of the year is January. But we all know that the new year starts in the spring equinox. We just had the winter solstice yesterday. So happy winter solstice. Happy Yule for anyone that is celebrating that, or any other religions or credence, bless it all. So, but we're in this space, and Capricorn, it's kind of serious. It's kind of a serious type of energy in the sense of like trying to get us together so we can get into this new year, get into this new cycle in a way that feels kind of where we're going, right? It's a cardinal energy, so it's very direction oriented. But I also understand, being a human, that can feel daunting. It's like the end of the year can feel a little heavy, it can feel a little intense, it can feel a little like, I'm supposed to have everything together. And when the clock strikes midnight on the 31st, if I don't have my goals in line, then my whole new year is going to be just up in shambles, and it's going to be the worst. And I think it's an important thing as we're in this new season to look at the past. I think a lot of times we forget that this isn't our first New Year's, right? This is, and Lord willing, it won't be our last. But we know that a lot of times what we think our year is going to look like, it turns out to be completely different. It turns out to be all the things we forgot to write down on our intention setting, or all the goals we forgot to write. We met goals we didn't even know were goals. So with Capricorn being the sea goat, right? It's got this earthy energy of being very here and now, and practical and logical, and using all of its resources in a manner that is going to create more abundance and prosperity and longevity. But it's got that goat energy, which is the sea energy, which is a nod to the sea, the ocean, the water. And that's the intuitive aspect. That's the understanding that flow and allowance and understanding is at the core of us being able to manifest whatever we're looking at in the physical, because change is inevitable. Unexpected energy is always around the corner. And so for us to keep moving forward, like Capricorn wants us to do, it's that goat still, it's not a ram like Aries, but it's this goat that has this like tenacity, right? You see the goats on the mountain, they're like, I'm gonna get up this mountain. I'm not falling. And so that grit, that tenacity has to also come with flow. It has to also come with ease. It has to also come with grace that we give ourselves and then we give other people. And I hope that that is what we take away from this season of Capricorn, is to understand that structure, rules, boundaries, plans, strategies all come with contingency plans. There's not one way to move forward. And to put yourself in that box can feel as if you failed, or you lost, or you didn't learn. And that is demoralizing. And Saturn can kind of be a little intense like that, right? Daddy Saturn, even though Capricorn is a feminine energy, it can feel like, that wasn't what I told you to do. If you would have just stuck to the script, you would have gotten where you're supposed to be. And we can get a little hard on ourselves. We can be a little rigid with ourselves, right? Capricorn energy, it's interesting. It's one of my not so favorite energies of the zodiac because it does feel a little unforgiving sometimes. But what we do at Arcana is we like to look at the energies and see how we can pull out things and ideas and concepts that maybe aren't on the surface, but are still at the core, at the heart of that. So with Capricorn, it's a lot of care. Its opposing energy is Cancer. So obviously, there's a lot of care and a lot of love and a lot of nurturing and a lot of grace. But when you go into that boardroom or you go into that meeting, you can't lead overtly with your heart, right? You got to lead with an idea, a plan, and that's kind of Capricorn. Here's the plan. But you don't know that what's fueling that plan, what's fueling those actions is the heart, is what you care about, what matters. And so that's what I think this Capricorn season can be helpful to all of us, is remembering that although we have a plan, it is not void of heart. It is not void of care and understanding and grace in allowing for contingency plans, right? Backup plans, redirection, flow. It's still a yin energy. We're still in feminine energy with Capricorn, even if it wants to be ruled by Daddy Saturn. And so it's a lot of this balance in the yin and the yang in Capricorn season. And I think that, I think I've probably said this before, but society as a whole, we could probably really benefit from some balanced Capricorn energy because it's going to get shit done, but it's also going to be caring, compassionate, understanding, allowing. And that's where we can move forward with that cardinal energy. That's the goal, right? We want to move forward. We want to get to the next. And it's not just one way to go about it. It's a balanced way to achieve that. And I think a lot of that has a lot to do with, not a lot to do, but it also speaks to the symbolization of the bones, right? Which is Capricorn energy. And our bones, think about it. When we're little, right? We don't even have, 206 bones that adults have? We don't even have 206 bones when we're born. They're like forming and like connecting and shit. So our structure is like, when we get here on Earth, is not even ready to go yet. Like, it's growing, it's being created. Then we get that structure, and then we start to get older. And then what happens? Osteoporosis. Our bones start breaking down, and we have to drink more calcium, take whatever supplement. So it's this idea that structure, although we have 206 bones, we know that when we came into this world, we didn't have 206 bones. And when we leave this world, we may not have 206 bones because they could have gotten broken. They could have gotten degenerative through some type of disease. But at the end of the day, we're still here, right? Our form is still here in whatever way that it needed to hold us, right? Earth energy, hold us, have us. So understanding that usefulness of ourselves, even when we aren't in our strongest form, we're still useful. We're still moving forward. We're still creating our lives, our future, what we want to do, who we are, how we want to show up. And the devil, being the tarot card for Capricorn, wants to test us all the time. It's going to test us. It's going to see where it has an opening. and it's going to exploit that if we allow it to. And that's what the devil energy is about. It's saying, are you going to let this energy consume you, or are you going to eat it for breakfast and strengthen those bones so you can keep moving? The devil is not inherently in tarot this bad energy, but what happens is a lack of strategy, boundaries, focus. Then the devil starts to be a detriment to our goals. Then it's a toxin. Then it's in the way. Then we need to get control of it. So the devil is, even biblically, is a warning, lack of a better word, to say, hey, maybe things didn't go the way you thought they were going to go, but that doesn't mean you can't regroup, refocus, re-strategize, and move forward from where you are now, right? It's okay that the devil didn't go and abide by what God said he needed to do. But how he chose to move forward is really significant to how we perceive him, right? Like, you could get cast out if you want, based off of whatever norms, boundaries, rules, Saturn energy, right? But if you say, okay, fine, I didn't go about it your way, you could still be cast out and still be in alignment with your truth and your authentic self, and be in a place of love and kindness. And I personally think, just like Lilith, just like the devil, they get these bad reps and they're demonized, and there's no other story told about them. And we all know people that go against the grain, and that's not an indicator of failure. It means your life, your structure, how you chose to move forward is in alignment with your truth. And there's not one truth. So I think Capricorn, being the sea goat, reminds us of the flexibility within this earth energy that sometimes seems very rigid, but in its truth, at its core, it's allowing of differences and different strategies and contingency plans. So with that being said, I'm going to pull a tarot message. I'm going to use the Nightmare Before Christmas because we are coming up on Christmas. All right, for the collective, anybody that is here now, anyone that will watch this, listen to this, what is the message for this Capricorn season? Okay, we have the sun coming up reverse. When I see this, you might not be having the greatest end of the year right now. You might not be feeling overtly optimistic. But regardless if the sun is reversed, it's still the most optimistic energy that we can pull. And the sun is about astrology, right? It's now in Capricorn. So it's saying this Capricorn energy may feel a little dark, right? We just had the winter solstice. It's the darkest day of the year because the daytime is the shortest. And in that darkness, we have to sometimes figure out a new strategy, a new plan, a new way of looking at things. And that can feel sad, depressing, isolating. But that does not mean that we are not still simultaneously growing as a soul and as a person on our journey. Justice, balance being restored, moving in truth, letting the truth be our reality. Even in times, sun reverse, that may feel a little darker, a little less hopeful, that doesn't mean we're out of alignment. And last, the Page of Candles. So as we move into the new year, we are starting a new journey. It's exciting, but it's new. We're not sure of it. There's this little weird, creepy person on this card with this candle, and he looks like a baby, creepy person. Oh, kind of like a baby devil. So there's that Capricorn energy there coming through with this fire energy, but it's saying, fire energy is about our spirit. It's about our essence. And so it's like we're moving forward with a new plan, with a contingency plan, with the backup plan, right? Because a lot of times we get to the end of the year and that in full circle, what we thought this year was going to be, it wasn't. But it doesn't mean that we still are not in alignment with a more fruitful, abundant, prosperous new year. But we have to be willing to mentally be okay with where we are now so that we can make those still soul aligned movements forward and still have faith and trust and conviction, right, in who we are and where we're going. So, bless.
Well, the neuromuscular therapist in me loves your bones and the bones analogy and everything. I was like, okay, yeah, 206 is good. I was like, look at that. But yeah, Capricorn season is interesting. I like to look at it from a feminine perspective of like Mother Earth. And, when you look at the terrain of Earth, you have the Sahara Desert, but then you have the Amazon. You have Mount Fuji and the Himalayas, but then you have the cenotes in Mexico. You got Georgia. So it's interesting how diverse the topography is here on Earth. And that to me is like us being able to, an example of us as spirit having a human experience in this earthly container being of our bodies, being able to show ourselves in different ways and being able to make use of the resources that we have. And those resources being ones that we can become fruitful in when we allow ourselves to nurture those things, those goals, those dreams, our passions. And for what I feel, I was picking this up earlier, as far as the psychic reading for the collective, to me, this is very much an energy of standing firm. Cidnee talked about boundaries and sticking to the plan. And basically, to me, this feels very much like a 10 toes down or metatarsals. We're sticking with the anatomy, but it's anatomy analogy. So yeah, it's like staying 10 toes down. Like, what are your goals? What are your dreams? What do you value? And making conscious decisions that align with your values. What is it that you are determined to achieve? Because Capricorn can also be very much about achievements and reaching those heights. That's like those goats that are in the trees. I don't even know how the hell they get up there. I really don't. I'm very intrigued by these goats that be in these trees. But the same ones like on the mountains, they just be, one step at a time. That's how they get there, one step at a time, one foot in front of the other. And so for Capricorn season, the collective message is one about like, what are you standing firmly in? What are you standing firmly rooted in? What can you stand firmly grounded in? How deep are your roots? You know, not only to your ancestry necessarily, but your roots as far as like, what is it that the deeper the roots, the more you can reach down into the nourishment, allow yourself to receive, right, that from the earth and tap into that, which the deeper you go into the earth, the quieter it becomes, the darker it becomes, the more still things can become in that space. And so when you root down into that, it actually offers you exactly what this season of winter offers you. It's reflection, it's retrospect, it's introspect, it's intuition. You know, when you have to navigate through things that are darker times in life, you have to go within and trust your instincts. You have to feel things out, not be out there just making irrational decisions. You need to be more strategic. You need to plan. You know, when shit hits the fan, okay, that's what happened, but let's be practical, grounded. How are we going to maneuver through this? What's next? Okay, yes, you're having a bad day. What are you going to do about it? Yes, this is not ideal. What are you going to do about it? Instead of getting stuck and being stagnant in that energy, allowing that energy to actually move, but you can do it one step at a time. You can still do it gracefully. There's a saying that Mother Nature does not rush, yet everything is achieved. Every season cycles through. No matter where you live in the world, there's still a season or a place here on earth that is cycling through another season. So it's all happening simultaneously. So don't focus so much. That's that kind of Saturn restrictive energy. Don't focus so much on like what's just right here. Allow your viewpoint to be expansive and see the bigger picture so that you can actually see what options you have so that you don't feel so confined. You do have a little maneuverability, but you're also able to, from that viewpoint, see what may better serve you and your next step. Okay, but still staying true, staying in alignment to that which actually serves you, and making sure that you are resourced within yourself first before you give to others. It's kind of like putting your own oxygen mask on first before you give to others, or pouring from a full cup, not allowing yourself to sacrifice yourself to be of service to others, making sure that you are resourced first before you're able to give unto others. And this is an opportunity, it feels like this season, to really check in, and especially with this being the end of the year, to check in and like, okay, this is what I had in mind for this year. And yes, some things may have worked out, some things may have not worked out, but what are you going to do about it now? Okay, instead of wallowing in that dark space, that kind of, to me, like devil energy of like, oh, woe is me, and giving into self-loathing and stuff like that. Okay, depression, all those things, fine. The question is, though, it's okay to be there. What are you going to do about it? What is next? What is your next step going to be? Make your next move your best move. What is your next step going to be? You can accept that this is happening and still take that and move forward in a direction that gives you more fulfillment, helps you to feel more resource, help you tap into abundance. I was just talking about this with someone the other night, how it's nice to have options, because options technically is letting you tap into abundance. If you're so fixated on just one idea, one way of something, or something having to be a certain way, then sometimes that can be very restrictive. Now, we do need structure, but still, even the structure, the land of Mother Earth is always evolving and changing. It just does so in a way that's a little slower. And so there's still progress. Even though there's slow progress, it's better than no progress. Okay, give yourself some grace as you move forward, but also check in and make sure you're standing firmly in your truths, firmly in your alignment. Allow yourself to be resourced from within before you give your resources to others, so that you are balanced in giving and receiving. Notice, and for some reason that really hit right there. I think someone needs to maybe like hear that again. Notice where you are in giving and receiving. Are you balanced in giving and receiving? That felt like a very specific message for whoever's listening or watching. So anyways, it's one of those things where this is a time to just kind of recalibrate. Okay. So if things didn't work out the way you planned or for this year, okay, fine. What are you going to do about it? How can you make that better for the year ahead? Allow those moments to be like stepping stones, okay, as you build onto that, and eventually, hopefully, you can build, your not your castle in the sky, but it's kind of nice. Yeah, I'll take a castle, but be able to, I don't know, it's like kind of reach the summit is what I'm getting. Like I see these goats and they're like one brick, one little step at a time. They're reaching their summit, reaching the top of it. And it may take time, it takes strategy to get there, but at the same time, they don't have any doubt. They see the top and they plan their way up there, and that's how they get there. Same as goats in the trees, So for this season, remember that you are the goat. Okay, you are the goat. Stand firmly with your feet on the ground. Allow yourself to assert any boundaries that are needed. Check in to see where you might be maybe not upholding your own boundaries, and how that may be causing an imbalance in giving and taking. And then from there, accept what is, allow the rest to be, and may you move forward with ease and grace.
Bless. Beautiful. I'm so thankful and so grateful for this space, for Kisha as my business partner, for Arcana. As always, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, I know we get some YouTube watchers. Thank you so much. That just love it. I know we get a lot of podcast listeners as well. And when I say a lot, hey, that's more than one. Okay. But we appreciate you. It's awesome that you guys show up. There's a million spaces that you could come and get this information through, and you choose to come to us, and that is not taken lightly. So we're going to continue to be in our truth, in our frequency, in our vibe, who we are, and I know that's going to continue to attract, as they say, our tribe. So remember to share this with the homies. I say that all the time because I mean it. Like minds attract like minds. Word of mouth is the best way for anything to be shared. So with that being said, we will be back for the new moon. I think it's on 1/11, which is exciting, for the new year. And it'll be the Capricorn new moon. Oh, I'm skipping the full moon. Look at me, I'm already in 2024. We'll have the full moon on Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever we get to it, in Cancer. Then we'll have our Capricorn full moon. Y'all see how I was ready to be on the full moon? Clearly, this Cancer, when my Cancer Venus full moon is going to be a little bit of a doozy. And I said, I'm just going to skip it. It's not happening. But regardless, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Remember, on Patreon, we do our meditations, which we're about to go and get into. Distance Reiki this time around because it is Astro Reiki, of course. And Kisha is a legit magician, okay? So I'm just saying. Remember, with that being said, you can book with her individually. She also does intuitive development, amongst other amazing things. She is a great teacher on all things esoteric and intellectual, as you know. And you can always book a tarot reading with myself as well. So we will see you guys next time.